Then they tell you, no, it will not be a very easy one. But we want to thank you for being able to run the marathon, though you are trained for a shorter race. I would also want to warmly congratulate Dr. Njegere for taking charge of the association and wish you well. Give you our assurance that we shall be able to work with you very closely in the year that this country has been given an opportunity to lead the association. Once again, before I read the message of the Cabinet Secretary, I would want to thank all of us for the 4 or 5 days that we've been here. I know we've had quite some good engagements. We've had quite some good sharing of experiences. And most importantly, today, when we had the great athletes of this country to be part of the engagement today. We also, I'm informed, we had an opportunity to see Aeaa girls play that they did present not so long ago to the President of the Republic. And I can assure you, Chairman, it's not only yourself, you are not only the only one who almost shed a tear if we didn't do it when that play was presented. And we can see the huge talent that is in our people. And therefore, sitting here today with a chorus of assessment, then we start asking ourselves, how do we assess the talent that goes beyond the classroom? And how are we able to translate that to something that they can be able to put on their hands? Are we able to see it as prior knowledge? How do we want to look at it? Because sometimes when you saw those young girls who are here today from Aeaa girls, in not so long a distance from today, they'll be sitting for various examinations. And you know, it will be so unfortunate when we say they have not passed their examinations, because we shall not be assessing them for what they can be able to give. We shall not be nurturing their talent, and we shall be leaving somebody behind. Yet we are trying not to leave anybody behind. So I think as we sit here today, as we look forward to going to South Africa, we should be asking ourselves, going forward, how shall we be able to have a fair assessment of everybody, including the talent that is innate in so many of our people. This country, we have had, and we continue to have, great athletes. How do we assess a man who is the first human being to run below 2 hours in a marathon? How do we assess a lady who breaks 2 world records within 10 days? How do we look at it? So these are things that as we move forward, we must be able to rethink. And I'm very happy on the theme that we are going to have as we go to the 40th conference, that we need to reimagine. And it is real that we need to reimagine, because we have to move away from certain practices that we may have been doing in the past. I want to reiterate what the chair said, the outgoing president said, that we have no two ways but to work together as an African continent. It is in your communique today that we have to develop common standards of assessment. Not so long ago, quite a number of our teachers were in Seychelles. We have quite a number of our teachers today in Somaliland, in Somalia. We have quite a number of our teachers across the world. And as they teach and do assessments, what are the standards that they are looking at? Are they able to meet and practice the standards of where they have been put into. So I think it is so important for us to take and move forward with the resolution, among which was developing common standard. The other one, which is the future and we must be able to follow, is the whole question of leveraging on technology. Because our children today have socialized so much with technology that we need to make them appreciate that technology is good. Because sometimes the technology has been demonized for certain aspects. But as assessors, we must be able to look forward to a time when we can leverage on technology. We are aware that quite a number of assessments go on leveraging on technology. There are quite a number of international assessments that are done leveraging on technology. How do we deal with our national assessments? And how do we benefit from the investment that has been put into technology? So it is so important that we are able to relook, and we are very happy that South Africa, as we go there in another 1 year, are asking us to reimagine assessment. And it is really important that we reimagine. And I hope that we've been able to be good hosts as a country. And I would want to pray that we did exceed expectations. With those few remarks, it's now my duty to communicate the message of the Cabinet Secretary. The Association of Educational Assessment in Africa, our outgoing president, the chief executive officers from the various assessment boards, the chief executive officer and the new president of the Association of Education Assessment, Dr. Njegere, our esteemed delegates, members of the media, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure and honor to be here at the concluding session of the 39th Association of Educational Assessment in Africa annual conference. First, allow me to congratulate Dr. Njegere as he takes over the presidency of the association. This is a great honor. This is a great honor to the Kenya National Examination Council and to us as a country. The Ministry of Education will support you as you serve the association and move it to even higher horizons. As Kenya, as we implement the new curriculum, assessment is a critical pillar for success of our education system. Thus, the presentations at the conference have been of great interest to the ministry, and I have been keenly following the proceedings through direct participation of officers from the ministry and other officials, and the continuous briefing that I have received from the Chief Executive of the Kenya National Examination Council. As again I look at the theme of this year's conference, Education Assessment for Nurturing Every Learner's Potential, it is evident that the brilliant paper presentations, the keynote speakers, the sponsors, and the exhibitors have delivered on the expectation for this one-week conference. The communique, as already as mentioned, has captured major thematic issues that all of us as assessment experts need to prioritize to improve the quality of education in our countries. Our major take-home Messages from this conference are many, but may I just highlight a few. First, assessment is a key pillar in teaching and learning. Thus, there is a general understanding that we must uphold the best practices in educational assessment by interrogating the weakness of the assessment in our respective countries and coming up with right solutions to these challenges. Second, we must also appreciate that challenges still emerge with the advancement of technology, and we must openly deliberate on the best ways to ensure that no learner is left behind on account of assessment. It is our hope the deliberations on the enhancement of technical, vocational, and occupational assessment, including recognition of prior learning, will shape the policy dialogues as we strive to ensure that our TVET graduates are consistent with the needs of our countries and the needs of industry in our countries. The sector is expected to provide skilled manpower, which requires skills that have been effectively assessed and certified to remedy the skills gaps currently being experienced in our various countries. Finally, may I sincerely appreciate the commitment of the member institutions of the association, as over 90% of the chief executives have physically attended and participated in this conference. Personally, I would want to also most sincerely thank all of us. We appreciate how busy the chief executives are, but you've given time to attend this conference because learning will always continue. And as it is said, we continue to learn. So it is good when we appreciate the importance of such meetings because they give us an opportunity to learn. This is a clear indication that the deliberations made in the 2023 Association Conference will adequately be considered by all the member institutions. I am informed the delegates have had an opportunity to visit parts of our magical Kenya during the excursion tours. I believe that the delegates were able to learn and appreciate the history of our country and Africa as a whole. Proper collaboration begins with understanding of our history and appreciating the diverse, rich cultures that we share. And I can assure you there is so much that we share, including the way that we do our assessments, and therefore the need to converge and run away from the silos that we sometimes find ourselves in. Once again, the delegates are welcome to make more visits to our country, both in your private capacities and in your official ones, to explore other beautiful tourist sites across our beloved country. I can tell you there must be so much that you still need to learn. This is one country where the equator splits us into two equal halves, and therefore you have an opportunity to be in a country with a lovely climate, lovely place to relax in. Once again, we also invite you in another 2 weeks. We shall be having the African Climate Action, and you are all welcome to be part of that particular discussion on our climate. As I conclude, I want to thank the Kenya National Examination Council, the Aeaa Executive Committee, and all the participants for making the 39 Association Conference a successful event. I encourage all delegates to continue with the excellent cooperations with one another, as well as take all necessary steps to put the recommendation of this conference into action. It is so important that we move forward the recommendations that you have been able to resolve yourselves in this conference. I would like to appreciate the sponsors and partners for their financial support and technical and technological resources that have made this conference a success. It's now my place and duty, on behalf of the Cabinet Secretary for Education, Honorable Ezekiel Machoku, to officially declare the 39th Aeaa conference closed, and wish all of you participants journey masses as you travel back to your countries. Once again, I would want to assure you that we appreciate and we thank you for being part of this particular conference and giving an opportunity to our country and making sure that you are part and parcel of this country in the last 4 or 5 days. And on behalf of the country, on behalf of the leadership, we would want to most sincerely thank you for being here. And once again, welcome back any other time that you would want to be around this beautiful country. Asanteni sana.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the conference, and we want to express our appreciation to the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Bello Kipsang, for having taken time off to come and officiate at this closing ceremony. There is an announcement from the outgoing president that there is going to be a photo shoot at the stage, one for all Nigeria delegates, and then two for all WAEC delegates with the outgoing president. So we wait. Once everything is settled, please, the Nigeria delegates and WAEC delegates, the outgoing president would love to have a photo shoot with you. I think looking at the program, the local organizing committee, unless there are specific announcements,
just few announcements. You are requested to continue registering online for collection of your details and ensuring that your itinerary is captured. This will enable planning for transport to the airport. The link and QR codes and link were projected all day long during the presentations. Please check the emails from Aeaa for the link. The delegates staying in hotels other than those defined in Aeaa website are requested to visit the registration office today for confirmation of pickup. Strictly ensure that your flight details have been captured to ensure proper planning of logistics. For departure back to our resident countries, delegates will be picked from their hotels at least 3.5 hours before the departure time stated on their airline tickets. Please take note of the correct departure time and date. Certificates will be issued after closing ceremony. Each country is requested to appoint one representative to collect certificates. Certificates will be issued at Jumbo Hall, the main hall. Delegates are requested to fill in the feedback form on their experience during the conference. A QR code is included at the back of today's daily bulletin. Thank you so much. Lunch, I'm told, is ready after this.
Thank you so much for those announcements. There is a final announcement of a suggestion that chief executive officers or chief executive officers, that will be the third set of photo for chief executive officers that attended this conference. So we'll have, first of all Nigeria delegates, then all WAEC delegates, then all chief executive officers that came to this conference. Thank you so much, and can we be uprising? As our chief guest leaves, please let us just stand and wait until our chief guest has walked out. There is also a request for a delegation from Cameroon to stick around for a photo.